In the world of structural engineering, we deal with forces you can see, like wind, snow, and gravity, but we also deal with invisible killers. The most dangerous of these is a failure mode we call fatigue. Most people think materials only break when you overload them all at once, like a sledgehammer hitting a glass pane. But fatigue is different. You can take a piece of steel that is technically rated to hold a massive load. It is strong. It is compliant. It passes every initial inspection. But if you cycle the stress back and forth, day after day, something changes on a molecular level. Microscopic cracks begin to nucleate inside the crystal lattice of the metal. You cannot see them with the naked eye. To the external observer, the beam looks pristine. It feels solid. This wire isn't weak, it's actually quite tough, but it has a limit. As I continue to apply this cyclic load, the material is losing its ductility. It is becoming brittle. It is silently degrading from the inside out until suddenly, without any visual warning, it undergoes catastrophic failure. This is what we call plastic deformation, leading to fracture. Here is the uncomfortable truth. Most retirees treat their cash holdings like that steel beam. They believe cash is the safest material in the world because the number on the bank statement, the nominal value, never goes down. It feels solid. It feels safe. But in a 30-year retirement, your cash is suffering from material fatigue every single day. The environment it lives in is corrosive. Today, I'm going to apply a structural stress test to your safe money. We are going to measure the cracks in your foundation before the beam snaps and brings the whole house down. To understand why you are in danger, we need to distinguish between two engineering concepts: a crash and creep. When investors talk about risk, they are almost always talking about a crash. Think of the 2008 financial crisis or the COVID crash of 2020. In engineering terms, this is an impact load. It is sudden, it is violent, it is highly visible. When an impact load hits, everyone sees the damage immediately. The media screams about it. Your account balance drops 20% in a month. It hurts, but because the damage is visible, you can react to it. You can repair it. But cash doesn't crash. Cash suffers from creep. In materials science, creep is the tendency of a solid material to move slowly or deform permanently under the influence of mechanical stresses. Think of a wooden bookshelf holding a heavy set of encyclopedias. If you look at it after one day, it's straight. After 1 month, straight. But come back in 10 years. That wood has permanently bowed. It hasn't broken, but it has deformed. It has lost its structural geometry. Inflation is that constant gravity. It is not an event, it is an environment. It is a 2%, 3% or 4% load pressing down on your portfolio 24 hours a day, 365 days a year. The dangerous part is that the nominal value, the dollar amount you see in your savings account, stays the same. It creates an illusion of stability. But the structural integrity of your actual purchasing power is sagging. You are experiencing a loss of capacity, but your dashboard is telling you everything is fine.
Most financial channels just talk about gains or getting rich. They are talking about decoration. Here at The Yield Architect, we focus on the foundation, on structural integrity. If you want to build a retirement plan that actually passes the engineering stress test, make sure you subscribe and hit the notification bell. We are engineering wealth here, not just gambling on it.
Now, let's look at the specific mechanism of this failure. When you hold cash, you are holding a static asset in a dynamic, expanding monetary supply. As the supply of money increases, the relative value of each unit decreases. This is not a political statement. It is a mechanical one. It is supply and demand physics. If you are holding a static material in an expanding universe, your material is shrinking relative to everything else. Let's move from theory to application. We are going to run the numbers. This is a standard 30-year stress test. Let's assume we have a retiree. Let's call him Prudent Paul. Paul has saved $1 million. He is terrified of the stock market. He saw 2008 happen, and he swore he would never lose money again. So he keeps his $1 million in safe cash or near cash equivalents that yield nothing. No market risk, no volatility. Paul sleeps great at night. But now let's introduce the load. We will apply a conservative 3% annual inflation rate. This is historically standard. Let's fast forward to year 15. This is the halfway point of a healthy retirement. By year 15, the math of compounding has done its work in reverse. Paul still sees $1 million on his statement. But in terms of what that money can actually buy, gas, groceries, healthcare and housing, his purchasing power has degraded to roughly $641,000. He has lost over 35% of his load-bearing capacity. And remember, he didn't spend a dime. He didn't make a bad trade. He didn't pick the wrong stock. He simply stood still. Now, let's take it to the end of the life cycle. Year 30. If Paul lives a long, healthy life, that original $1 million block of concrete is now effectively worth $411,000. That is a 59% structural failure. I want you to really absorb that number, 59%. If I designed a bridge and I told the city, this bridge is great, but over 30 years, 60% of the steel bolts will turn to dust, I would lose my engineering license. I would be sued for negligence. Yet this is exactly how millions of people build their safe retirement portfolios. They ignore the rust until the floor falls out. They worry about the market dropping 10% temporarily while ignoring that their cash is dropping 60% permanently. This is the definition of material fatigue. The material, cash, was not designed to hold this load, inflation, for this duration, 30 years. If those numbers concern you, good, they should. That anxiety you feel is your logical brain realizing the math doesn't add up. If you want to see the solution to this problem, take a second to hit the like button. It helps spread this warning to other retirees who are sitting on a crumbling foundation right now. So, we have identified the failure mode. Now, as engineers, we have to design the fix. How do we retrofit a foundation that is rotting from the inside out? In structural retrofitting, the answer is rarely to just add more of the bad material. If a wooden beam is rotting, I don't nail another wooden beam to it. I replace it with steel. I upgrade the material class. We need to change the material properties of your money. Cash is brittle. It cannot flex. When inflation pushes down, cash just takes the damage. It has no mechanism to fight back. We need to introduce an alloy. In finance, we call this yield or dividend growth equities, but I want you to think of them as hardening agents. Why do I call them hardening agents? Because unlike cash, high-quality businesses are living organisms. They are adaptive. Think about what inflation actually is. It is prices going up. Who is raising those prices? Companies. When you own the companies, when you own the equity, inflation is no longer just a tax on you. It is a pass-through mechanism. When inflation rises, companies raise prices to protect their margins. When prices rise, earnings rise. When earnings rise, dividends rise. The material adapts to the load. This is a property called strain hardening in metallurgy. The material actually gets tougher under stress. Now, I know what you're thinking. But the stock market goes down. It's risky. Yes, the price moves up and down. That is called volatility. But in engineering terms, we call that flexibility. A skyscraper must sway in the wind. If you build a skyscraper that is perfectly rigid, that never moves an inch, the first typhoon will snap it in half. Your portfolio is the same. It must have volatility. It needs to be able to sway with the economic winds so that it doesn't snap under the pressure of inflation. You have to accept the sway, volatility, to avoid the collapse, purchasing power failure. Cash is rigid but brittle. Yield is volatile but durable. This broken wire didn't fail because it was cheap. It didn't fail because it was defective. It failed because it was the wrong material for the application. Holding 100% cash feels safe today, just like this wire felt solid 10 seconds before it snapped. But on a 30-year timeline, safety is actually the highest form of risk. You are guaranteeing a loss of purchasing power in exchange for the comfort of a stable nominal balance. The goal of the yield architect is not to make you a day trader. It is to help you build a portfolio that can withstand the stress test of a 3-decade retirement. Don't let the illusion of safety be the reason your plan fails. You need to inspect your foundation for rust before the load gets too heavy. I'm the yield architect. If you want to see the blueprints for a fatigue-resistant portfolio, what I call the guardrail strategy, check out this video right here. It is the structural retrofit you probably need.